So who did force that fumble on the punt? Because some people were saying it was Shamar. Daphne got credit for it. It looked like Ty at first. Who was it?
I'll be honest with you. Looking at the film, it's inconclusive. What we saw was Henry Black made the initial hit, which jarred the ball. I think the ball started moving at that point. Shamar comes back. He's swiping at it, but you can't tell if it was already out or if he was getting it out. And then last but not least, Dominique Daphne came across, and it looks like he got it out. So within our room, we gave all three of them credit for that.
Yeah, but what does that tell you that 3 or 4 guys are involved on that play? I mean, in that tackle with your cover units, which seem to have been pretty solid all year.
Yes, no, we really like the fact, we want many hats around the ball. So we're really excited about that. Now, ideally, in the perfect world, Shamar makes that play initially, and he doesn't have to retrace his steps to get back. But just having guys around the ball, hats around the ball, we're able to take shots. And if a guy misses a tackle, his buddy is right there to have his back. So that's one of the things we hang our hat on.
Is there anything to, it seemed like the majority of Mason's kicks were going left yesterday. I don't know if that's how he was intending them to go because of the wind or whatever.
From a PAT field goal standpoint?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. The winds were horrific yesterday, and I think we saw that on both ends. You saw it with us having trouble fielding a punt as well, with their returners fielding the ball. The wind was it was definitely a Lambeau wind. It was tricky on yesterday. So those balls were going in that direction because of the wind.
Well, what prompted you guys to try Randall there as a starter?
Yeah, so it wasn't anything that a surprise to anyone on our team. We talked about if the conditions of Lambeau were pretty rough, that we would go with a more experienced person. So it was something we kind of prepared for. Amari and Randall, they practiced that way during the week as well. It was just unfortunate that that ball bobbled. It just goes to show, and I forgot who asked the question last week. We talked about the difference between a kickoff return and a punt return. It's drastic, and it's tough, especially in our environment. But we're going to keep working it like we always do and be a pro's pro and find a way to get it done at a high level.
I think it was on the one that was, you caused the fumble, Corey's kick was sort of a line drive, is that right? Or kind of a low?
Yes, I tell you what, you got a good eye. I think we need to get you in the room with us. So yes, it was. What we didn't want to do was have the ball hang up in the wind, and because the wind was so unpredictable, we didn't want the ball to be affected that way. So we were trying to cut through the wind best we could.
On the one that rolled to the one, Cooper Kupp's no slouch of a returner. Was that the way Corey kicked it, or the wind that kind of made him kind of back off and let that one bounce?
Definitely a combination of both. It was, like I said, it was really tricky on yesterday. So Corey being a lefty, and he has a really nice toolbox that he sprinkles some things in sometimes. You mix that with the conditions. It was a tough ball to catch, and I'm just glad we ended up on the good side of that.
The kicking game aside, what are the areas when you self-scout, just out of curiosity, that you have right now that you really want to take a look at?
Yeah, we're going to start from top to bottom. We'll hit what I call 6 phases. I'll start with the PAT field goal unit, and we'll look at ourselves, and I'll go through each phase: punt return, kickoff return, and we'll try to figure out what our tendencies are. We'll obviously look at our deficiencies. How can we patch those up or fix those between now and the end of the season? So we're going to do that from top to bottom. So that's how I'll spend tonight and tomorrow.
Is there anything in your mind that you're just like, man, I want to see what is going on in this area?
Yes, but I really don't want to talk about that. But yes, I do. To answer your question, there are some things where I'm just like, man, I can't wait to really look at it and try to dive into it and see what's truly going on. I'll make you a promise. When I do that on the next time, if it's something that was like outlying, I'll definitely tell you what it was.
Or you could just have me up in the room like you said.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you could do that too.
What does AP bring you on special teams?
Oh, EQ is he's bringing an excitement to special teams right now that he hasn't necessarily had. I think just and it's because he's been nicked up over time, and now he's kind of healthy and he's able to play full speed. And the fact that he's playing on special teams and from the line of scrimmage, making plays for both units is really huge for our younger guys to see. They see him having some success from the line of scrimmage and on special teams, and it just drives the room. It helps the room totally. And the other thing that he's doing, I mentioned this early in the year when he was nicked up. He's been teaching these young guys, the gunners, the outside core. They have done a great job this season, and also in the blocking roles on punt return. But even when he wasn't playing, he took an ownership in coaching those young guys up, and now he's able to say, hey, this is what I was talking about, and he's doing a good job. Very happy for him.
So, Mo, we spent so much time asking about the field goal unit that you obviously had your entry on whatever that was, Thursday or Friday last week. Did you think that despite the weather, there were noticeable advancements that you feel better about going into this? I know the job is not done, but were there encouraging signs? Because the results up until the last one, obviously you're process-based, not results-based, but the results were pretty good.
Yes, we are encouraged. I physically see the operation getting better. It's never okay to miss a kick. We all know that. We understand that. But there are improvements that we can physically see, and it's going to yield results. It's yielding results. I hated. Oh man, you're supposed to celebrate every win because they're hard to come by in the National Football League. But that last kick, it just dug at me a little bit, and I really couldn't celebrate the way I wanted to. But we're going to get it. Yes.
Anything else in here? Eric, you can go ahead on Zoom.
We just got one. Ryan Wood, go ahead.
Hey Mo, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Hey, you mentioned the toolbox for Corey. It seems no matter the position, there's certain things that special players do that make them different. If you kind of get into that toolbox, what are the things that make Corey different? Because he's been that kind of special player this year.
Well, he's diligent in his process. Now, if you're asking for a specific tool, I would say the banana kick that we broke out a few weeks ago. But outside of that, he is he's diligent in his process and how he attacks his practice reps from a mental standpoint and a physical standpoint.
Is that banana kick something that you guys have been kind of working on behind the scenes a little bit before you broke it out? What's the story behind that?
Oh, that's not a real huge story. The Australian punters started utilizing that kick, and Corey basically wanted to add it to his arsenal, so he's been working on it on his own. And then the Arizona game, we attempted it one time before, but it didn't come out as good. But the Arizona game is when he broke it out, and now it's part of our repertoire.